Attention, please. We'd like to welcome everyone here tonight for this great event for Gabi as she begins her embarkment on a great political career. We know she's going to do a fabulous job. I've known this young lady when she was born, and she's got great character, integrity, and that comes from her family, and I believe that she will do nothing but a great job for all us New Yorkers here as Assemblywoman. Let's give it up. So I'm going to pass the mic to our illustrious mayor, Steve Noble, who has a few remarks. So please just, can we get your attention for a few minutes?
Thank you, and so looking around the room, it sure does look like a lot of Kingston is in this room tonight, so thank you. I've had the opportunity to know Gabi for quite some time, and one of the things that I know about Gabi is Gabi works hard. And when we think about people who we want to put up to run for office, we want people who are going to work hard for us. And all of us, right? And I think that that's one of the things that we look for in public servants is someone who's going to represent the needs of our community. And really, when it gets to being an elected public servant, you're going to serve everyone, whether they're Democrat, Republican, non-enrolled, it doesn't matter. Because what we want to do is we want to be able to make sure that our communities are vibrant, that people have quality and affordable places to live. We want to be able to have a community that's sustainable, one that has infrastructure that's being improved. I think we want a place like Kingston, right? That's what, and if we could spread that around the 103rd Assembly District, that's a good thing. And so I think someone like Gabi is going to be able to bring those results because, again, Gabi's going to work hard. And I think hopefully you've all had a chance to pick up some information about Gabi and is going to spread the message about what she stands for and hopefully help her get her message out to our residents and, kind of hammering home the point, results, not rhetoric, right? That's what we want out of our people in Albany. That's what we want for people who are representing us. We just want to get the job done. And I think that Gabi is shown so far in just the very short time that she's been campaigning, showing up at committee meetings and working hard because it's not easy to run in a primary. It's not easy to put yourself out there. And I know because 9 years ago, I ran in a primary against a sitting Democrat because I felt like my message was important to get out there to the voters. And I won. Because we worked hard and we knew that we had a strong message, and I know that that's what Gabi is going to do. And so with that, I'm really excited tonight to be able to introduce the senator from just south of here, a senator who knows very well the work that Gabi is going to have to do because not only was he an assembly member, he also then ran for Senate and has served just south of here for quite some time and has worked really hard to bring transparency and accountability and an openness to state government that we just have not seen in a really long time. And I will say that he may also take credit for bringing rideshare to the Hudson Valley. So thank you, and because that's one of the last times we got to work on a project together. And so Senator James Skoufis, thank you so much.
Give it up for our mayor here in Kingston. He does a phenomenal job. And, because I'm a little bit south of here, I am not in Kingston every day like so many of you are. And to drive in here and you just look around. This is a vibrant city. There is energy here. It is clear there has been a lot of investment here, both private investment, state investment, other public investment. They look out for their tenants. They do a bang-up job, and that doesn't happen by accident. That doesn't happen by luck. It happens with good leadership. And that leadership starts with your mayor here. Give it up again for Mayor Noble. So I am as thrilled as all of you are to be here in launching this campaign for your next Assemblywoman, Gabi Madden. I have had the privilege of getting to know Gabi. I've seen her up close the last several years. She served alongside me as our office deputy chief of staff. And it did not take long at all for me to realize and internalize and understand just who we were dealing with in our office as a new hire several years ago. At the end of the first week, literally the first week on the job, Friday, 5, 6 o'clock, whenever it was, she sends my chief of staff and me an email. And we hadn't talked about this. I wasn't expecting this. I didn't know she was doing this. She sent an email that week, and every day maintained for the next several years a work report. And it was a borderline OCD, big Excel spreadsheet with every issue, every matter, every constituent she was dealing with, how long they've been dealing with the issue, where the issue stood, what needed to happen next, what the status was, what already happened for every single item. And I say that to underscore the fact that Gabi Madden is incredibly organized and focused in whatever mission she takes on. And that is the kind of assemblywoman you need representing you up in the state legislature. Let me say one other thing. She left our office to transition into running for state assembly at the end of last year, so December 31st was her last day. So she's been out of the office for about a month and a half or so now. And more than periodically over the past month and a half, we have average constituents, stakeholders, community groups, not-for-profits emailing my office and asking, we haven't heard from Gabi in a while. Where is she? And, you know, it might be a little bit funny, but the main point here, the most important point here is that Gabi never just waited for people to reach out to her and to resolve a problem and like that was the end of it. She cultivated, she nurtured these deep, meaningful relationships with everyone she worked with. She would solve a problem, but then that wasn't the end of it. She'd check in. How are you doing? Anything else I can help with? That's the kind of assemblywoman you need in the state legislature as well. And so, as was mentioned before, you can give it up for that. So as was mentioned, I was in the assembly for 6 years. I know how the place works. I also know how the place doesn't work, but I'll focus on how the place works. And as of right now, there are 102 Democrats in the State Assembly Majority Conference. 102. Why is that important? Because when you walk into that Democratic conference, and you are one out of 102 members, it is not easy to be heard. It is not easy to be seen. It is not easy to deliver for your district. And it's especially not easy when you're brand new. In your first term or your second term, even your third term, you're not some big, powerful committee chair like you have to be 15, 20 years to be there to get some big, powerful chairmanship. It's really difficult when you're one out of 102. And the way that you're able to deliver is by being hyper-focused on your district. Because when you're brand new, when you get there, the first minute you're there, you are not going to be able to, we all think we're going to be able to change everything the minute we get there. When you're brand new in the assembly, you're 1 out of 102, you're not flipping over tables and changing the world. You're just not. We don't love to on some issues, but you just can't the minute you get there. You're brand new, 1 out of 102. And so you've got to be strategic. And you've got to be smart. You've got to build coalitions. You've got to be savvy. You have to be persistent and tenacious. And you've got to be focused on your district. You've got to be focused on bringing back resources to your district. The communities like Kingston that need continued investment. You need investment in our not-for-profits coming down from Albany to Ulster and Dutchess counties. And you've got to introduce, not just introduce, anyone can introduce bills. You've got to pass bills that touch the lives of the people in your district. It's one thing to just make statements with bills that you introduce. You've got to pass bills that hold Central Hudson accountable. You've got to pass bills that touch and improve the lives specifically of the people in Ulster and Dutchess counties. you've got to be hyper-focused. And I don't have a shadow of a doubt. I don't have a shred of doubt. I have the highest level of confidence that Gabi Madden will be the one to step into that room and deliver for her district every single day as an assemblywoman. Now here's the last thing I'm going to say because I'm over my 2 minutes of budgeted time. For the average voter, campaigns and candidates can sometimes be tricky. And here's why. Because when you're a new candidate, on some level, most of the time, the average voter kind of has to take their word for it. They got to take their word about what their values are. They've got to take their word about what they want to do when they get in office. On some level, you kind of have to take their word for it as they're out there campaigning. And make no mistake, people should take Gabi's word, but they don't have to take Gabi's word for it because they can look at her time in the state Senate. They can look at her time prior to that working in the state assembly. They can look at her family roots here, her values here, the community service that runs deep in her and her family. People don't have to take her word for it. They can just look and see what she's already done and said and delivered for this community. And that is what's going to be special about this campaign. As we all go around these two counties and as Gabi goes around paving pavement and we're all talking to voters, we don't just have to talk about, oh, she hopes to do this and take my word for it, believe me, like here's what she's going to do. You can say, here's what she's already done. And now just imagine what she can do as your next assemblywoman. Your next assemblywoman, Gabi Madden.
Thank you so much, folks. I really do appreciate it. And thank you to Senator Skoufis. Big shout out to the gentleman who helped me to realize the full potential of an effective and engaged representative, and Mayor Steve Noble, who has proven his ability to deliver results throughout this great city that I'm lucky enough to call my home. So big round of applause again for Mayor Noble and Senator Skoufis. And I thank all of you for gathering together tonight to celebrate what I'd like to consider a new chapter, an opportunity to carry out honest and true democracy, an opportunity to look with fresh eyes at our evolving communities and decide who will lead the way, who will improve our quality of life today while working toward solutions for a prosperous tomorrow, who will understand the necessity in rooting to sustain growth and stabilizing to sustain change. I believe that someone is me. And while both change and growth are imminent, for better or worse is dependent upon the route we take to get there. It's all in the journey, as they say, and it's true. The path we take to achieve change counts, just as how we approach a problem dictates the solution we eventually reach. As our communities have expanded the past few years, I'm reminded of the stories my great-grandmother McSweeney used to share with me about the old days living in Chelsea. Despite it being a massive, heavily populated, diverse city, neighbors knew each other by their first name. Communities were families, block by block, looking out for one another, a bond that instilled a sense of stability in an unstable world. It is this type of nexus that can hold us steady even when the rest of the world shakes. And it is with this in mind that I see our community's growth with a hopeful vision of what could be. However, we need someone who has the leadership skills to turn that hope into action. A leader who will talk less and listen more, who will build a platform and portfolio that reflects the priorities of all the people they were elected to represent. A leader who will embrace our shared experiences and empathize those that are not. A leader who recognizes that good governance is not achieved by making demands, but rather by creating understanding. I believe that leader is me. And while I recognize the task in pleasing everyone, all 132,000 constituents, it is the effort that will be reflected upon in the years to come. As we must acknowledge that even in instances where the demands of one side are met, there is an underlying polarization that occurs, which is why I believe the best way, the only way forward, is by virtue of the silent majority, The silent majority who see this home as an exception to the rest of the state, the rest of the nation even, as an exception supported by foundational pillars that establish us first as a shared community and second as individuals. Certainly, these pillars take many forms, but it is incumbent upon our elected leaders to be among them, to be a steady light that guides us through the sea of change that often pulls people in many directions. I believe I am that pillar, and that I can shine that light. But this candidacy is not about me. It's about returning representation back to the people. It's about raising the standard of what it is to be a true public servant. Now is the time for our state to ask what it is we can do for you. It is my hope that as I take this leap forward and amplify this message, you too will join me in breaking that silence of our majority. As we cannot afford to be stagnant, to sacrifice our representation at such a critical time, we have plenty of issues to address right here in our own backyards. It's time we let the other 149 Assembly members take care of their own respective constituencies. We need our leaders to focus solely on the priorities of our people, from delivering millions in your tax dollars back home to serving as your advocate in the face of government bureaucracy. This is about your electeds working for you. Bringing governance back to the basics. No fear, no intimidation, just service. Enough of the rhetoric, we need real results. I believe I have proven myself to be that public servant the past 6 years working in the state legislature. And while trying at times, I would have it no other way. It's an honor to serve this place, these people, this home that I consider my lifeline. And folks, there are a few guarantees I can make as a candidate, but I can promise you this. I will carry this community just as I have carried my father's name, with great pride and integrity. I will fight for you as I have fought for my own family. I will carry you in times of hardship as you have carried me. From Red Hook to Olive and Gardner to Saugerties, I will work hard to deliver tangible relief so we can further sow the seeds of democracy right here at home. Thus, it is with great optimism for our future that I officially announce my candidacy for New York State Assembly, representing the fine people of Ulster and Dutchess County.